So World's Strongest Man is now over. Let's talk about the show and see who won out of our predictions.
I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.
Disclaimer, we are going to be discussing the results, so if some people don't want to know who won, even though it's probably extremely difficult not to know who won.
You would have to live under a rock rather than lift rocks.
Yeah, but we are going to be discussing the who won.
So if you don't want to know, you want to just try and find out at Christmas, turn this off.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that. But, yeah. So, obviously, predictions-wise, we both got the winner right in Tom. Really good show though. I think it was a fantastic show. Novikov, maybe the star of the show, putting in an amazing effort. What did you think of Novikov first?
Novikov is insane, considering he's been in the army, fighting the war in Ukraine, and then coming over and just winning basically 3 of the events.
I mean, he'd already won Europe. You heard him. He hadn't done any training for it whatsoever. Just unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, it was looking on at least to most casual fans, like Novikov's running away with this.
Yeah.
But the thing was that, I mean, I was saying before the final event, wasn't it? I don't think he's going to do very well on these stones. I think he's going to be one of the bottom placings.
Well, and the power stairs as well.
Yeah, I mean, that power stairs, you've done that power stairs because it's actually the power stairs from the games. So it's Lynn's power stairs. He did the equipment for World's Strongest Man. And you've done it, and it was high for you.
Yeah,
it is high.
There is a very tall power stairs. I think out of the women, only 2 women out of all of the classes, I think, completed it. I know in the Masters it was only Kiki that completed it.
And they didn't have to do a duck walk as well, so...
Yeah, and then it was only Victoria Long in our class that finished it, and I'm not sure that any in the other weight class finished the...
and they were tall implements that you did, but these were the World's Strongest Man as well, and they had to duck walk him, so people were saying it was going to be taller. Easy, but they might be even taller, yeah, they were really tall, and really tall step. It's just kind of impossible for Novikov. But I mean, he gave everything on the deadlift. If you redline and go to the well on a deadlift, early on in a contest, you pretty much screw for the rest of the contest.
Yeah, your CNS is just completely fried, but he just carried on giving it and giving it and giving it.
Yeah, he just didn't care. He just gave it everything on every event. Well, unfortunately, by the end, he just had nothing left. Come them power stairs, you could see it from the few clips we have seen, and then I just feared the worst in that he was going to lose his second spot and be one of the bottom placings on the stones, and that was what happened. Because going pairing with Tom, he basically knows he's got to try and beat Tom to win as well, which obviously, he just can't do. Tom's amazing at stones. So in the condition that he was, it was kind of a recipe for disaster, really, and unfortunately he did lose the second spot. Martins did phenomenally well, I think, for the events. They didn't particularly suit him. They kind of suited the taller guys, the bigger guys. I think he did really well as well.
Yeah, definitely. Martins is just a great athlete all round. He was really consistent. I don't think he dropped out of the top 5 in anything, did he?
I'm not sure. I can get the thing we'll talk, but yeah, I think Martins maybe performed a little bit better than we were thinking.
Yeah. And he was one of the only 2 to finish the power stairs as well, which was really good he was just a really consistent performance.
Yeah.
Maybe he could have done the medley a little bit quicker, but I think he did have a stumble, didn't he?
He did. Something I noticed on that particular yoke was that it seemed to be sort of weighted towards going to the back, so the back end was going to the floor, so you would need more of a height for your pickup, and it didn't look like he had enough height.
Have as much clearance on it.
Yeah, and he's not amazing at yoke. Obviously, he's they're all amazing at everything, but for this competition, he's not one of the best at yoke, so that probably was going to be
a bit of a downfall.
But then again, he also had the boxes to load. He's good at that kind of thing. There was 2 of them. We thought there was going to be 1.
Yeah.
One thing to note as well, the truck pull was actually 30 metres. It wasn't that heavy, but it was 30 metres. That might explain why Novikov was able to do that, because the bigger guys are going to burn up more. They're going to get more lactic acid, more pumping, the massive legs. Novikov, obviously, he's very fit right now. We know that he's going to be fit for his soldier training and all. That's going to make him extremely fit, and he already was.
Definitely.
So that might have paid off there. But again, he kind of redlined. He was on the floor apparently for a long time after that event.
Well, he was just leaving it all out there.
Yeah, which he kind of had to do. He didn't have any chance of winning otherwise.
You know how much it means to him to get it, and obviously I've been in that position where you've just got to go balls to the wall, give it all you've got, and hope for the best, really.
I mean, he knew that second day was going to favour Tom. He knew he had to just
he needed to get
try
as
and get
many points as he
possible.
could. So what do you think about Brian?
Brian just didn't perform. We both had Brian at higher.
I had him 3rd place.
I had him in 2nd place. I had him because I actually figured out the points. I had him half a point ahead of Novikov. So just pipping him, just not because he's maybe the better strongman, but I just thought, at this point in time, but I thought the events favoured him considerably more. They are tall man, heavy man, big man events.
You didn't have Novikov to win 3 events though, did you?
No, I thought that he might win the Flintstone. I thought that he might win the medley. I didn't think he'd win the deadlift. He obviously has improved his deadlift, because that is amazing. 360
He used to be
kilos
one
for
of the
15
weaker
reps.
deadlifters, I remember that.
Yeah, when he started on the... we first seen him on the elephant bar, didn't we, the Arnolds. That's a bit of a tricky bar, obviously you pulled on that now. And with no suit, he is worse, but he has improved his deadlift a lot all around. Obviously one of the best deadlifters on the planet now, so... absolutely phenomenal. He knows how to work the equipment as well. I mean, a car deadlift doesn't suit the shorter, lighter athletes, because it's on a pivot point. If you imagine like a drag, obviously you need body weight. It's kind of like that, like the reverse of a truck pull. Obviously on the truck pull, it suits body weight. I mean, he just doesn't care with these things. He's just got that will, that drive, just amazing. But yeah, Brian just didn't perform. He didn't perform on the heats. He didn't really perform in this.
I don't know if there's some kind of injury that he doesn't like to talk about his injuries out loud. So we might find out that there might be something that was plaguing him, because I was expecting him to do a little bit better. I don't like to say this, but I don't think Brian has improved much since last year, and the way that Strongman is now, you've got to keep improving. You've got to keep getting better, because otherwise you're just going to kind of end up slipping down that leaderboard. Say now, if I turned up to World's Strongest Woman this year in the same kind of condition I was last year, I'd probably come 5th or 6th. It's just absolutely crazy the way that the sport's developing. You've just got to keep improving, and with all of the things that Brian has got on at the minute, maybe he hasn't kind of got the time to dedicate to keep improving himself. I don't know, or there might have been an injury there, but we'll probably find out at some point soon when he puts a video up.
I mean, I would say the women's at the moment is improving at a faster rate than the men's, but the men's is still improving.
Yeah.
The overall standard is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, if you took the power and the speed and whatever of all the combined athletes today versus before the top 10, it's definitely more. The top 1 or 2, might in terms of like 4 and Z in the prime, they might be better, but the standard overall in depth is definitely better now, for sure.
Because back then you'd have the 1 or 2 people that just completely run away with it, but now you've got the fight in between events. You've got different people coming up trumps in different events and things like that. So you've got people have the ability to win or lose.
I mean, we've seen at the Giants live show, several guys pulling £1,000 now. It's just insane. I mean, Z never pulled £1,000. That's it's just insane. But yeah, I mean, Maxime was obviously very good. I think I had Maxime in 6. I had Evan come into the final. Obviously, Evan couldn't make it. Had some bad circumstances there. He had an allergic reaction to something. Allergic reaction to something.
Yeah, his
kind of ruined.
Closed up. He couldn't breathe.
Yeah, they were really good events for Evan. So I do think Evan would have been in the top 5 if he would have got there. But yeah, I mean, so let's talk about Tom now. So these events, they definitely suited Tom, but he really performed. Like, he performed phenomenally well. He didn't go out of the top 3 on anything.
No, and that's what you need. He didn't win an event until the Stones, but he didn't actually, in the end, have to do the Stones. Like,
no, he could have won without even doing the Stones. So, I mean, I had him at an 8-point clear. Again, we've got to. This is on these events, so sometimes events suit different athletes. These really were good events for Tom, and he was in phenomenal shape coming in. You could see it in his training. He was really dialed in for this. Tom has he's one of them athletes that peaks for World's Strongest Man. He doesn't peak for all the other shows, and that is going to pay off if you try and put your real peak for one show. You're going to be better at it. Tom does that. He's his best at World's Strongest Man, and he was just really, really good. There was nothing that he was remotely bad at. He was elite world-class level at every single event, and that's why he won by that many points. I had him at 8 points clear. I got him at 52.5 points. He actually got 10.5 points clear at 53.5. So he just did phenomenally well. And two-time champion, he's on a roll now. I mean, I can see him going all the way if things line up.
All the way.
No, I mean, like, he's trying to get 6 titles and to be the best ever. Yeah. He might be able to do it. I mean, that's obviously really hard.
He's got the right support system. He's got a great coach. He's got, like, the family behind him. He's got everything set up so he can train and do this full time. So it's like looking likely that, fingers crossed, he doesn't get any injuries or anything, but yeah.
I think he's one of them that paces himself as well. He doesn't try to kill himself.
Yeah, you could see in the heats and things, he wasn't going 100%. No. He was just cruising through. Like, you get a lot of people that kind of burn themselves out after 1 or 2 events and then they're kind of done. Like, he understands now. Like, he's had his time at World's Strongest Man before. He understands, like, right, we need to take it easy on these events. These aren't the events that really matter. The finals where it matters, the finals where I need to leave it all out there. And he did just amazingly well at just kind of reading the competition, knowing where he had to push, knowing where he could take a step back to conserve energy. Especially with the Flintstone barbell lift. Like, his 240 was easy, but he took the decision to just leave it there.
That was a smart decision.
Yeah, and not risk injuring himself over the 1 point because he knew he had 2 good events coming up.
He's just got that confidence, hasn't he? He knows, like, he knew the events coming up were good for him. He knew, because I thought on the deadlift, I thought he won't even try to win this, and he probably didn't. Obviously, we've not seen the footage, but it's pacing yourself for the full show. Like, if just think of it like a marathon race and you've got that sprint finish. A lot of guys you'll see, they'll do the best on actually the last event, like Tom did here. Martinez did it at the Rogue Invitational.
I'd say a little bit maybe like Mitch Hooper. He did really well. He won the first event, but then he kind of seemed to die off towards the end. I don't know if it was a little bit of the fact that he'd never done a truck pull before and he was learning on the job and things like that. But again, like, he impressed me the first couple of events. He did really well.
I think he redlined on the deadlift again because again he didn't know how to work the equipment. A car deadlift is very different. But I think ultimately Novikov, he kind of shot his wad for lack of a better term, and then after that he kind of just got worse and worse, and he's trying to overreach. Beating Tom in these events just wasn't possible. So it ended up actually costing him the 2nd place because he was trying to do that. But obviously he's trying to win, and fair play. You know, he wants to be World's Strongest Man.
Do you risk it for a chocolate biscuit? Like, would you risk a 2nd place to possibly get 1st? Yeah, like, do you know what I mean?
For this competition, absolutely, because that title means everything, doesn't it? There's very, very few that have got 2 titles. Obviously, there's very few that have got 1, but 2 is like the elite of the elite. And at this level now, that is just so hard. It's so hard to win a competition like this. But who's actually won their predictions? So let's have a look at the top 5. You had Tom in first. You had Novikov in second. You had Brian in third. You had Martins in fourth.
And then Luke in fifth.
Luke in fifth, okay. So
I got the winner right, that's all that matters.
So you only got the winner right, technically. They were equal points, but this is the way they decided it's on the stones.
Like, technically, Novikov did get joint second, but it was just on count back with the stones.
That's the way they do it.
That's where it was. So I was half right. I'm giving myself 1.5 points.
So technically, though, I got 2 right. Because I had Novikov in third and I had Brian in second. So it's kind of a bad way to win because Brian didn't get second at all. But yeah, technically I've won. Yeah, and I had as far as the qualifiers go as well, I think I had one more. So I think I've picked you on that. Because we both picked.
I did though. When we were in the gym on Saturday, I did say I think it's going to be Tom Lisi's then Novikov. Because I watched that video back today, and I did say on Saturday.
Yeah, we had kind of more information at that point, didn't we? Because again, we didn't know certain things.
I feel a little bit less bad about it.
Yeah,
now.
You got it right then. But yeah, I did have Mitch Hubert to go through to the final that you didn't. But again, it's like it's different events, a different competition. He had very good events in the qualifier. Some of these events he'd literally never even done them before, which is just insane.
He's insane. Like, he's going to come back, and I wouldn't be surprised if he wins World's Strongest Man in a few years' time.
Imagine if he doesn't get injured. Imagine how strong he's going to be in just a year's time.
I know.
It's insane. He's only been doing it 2 years. It just doesn't make any sense. The guy's just obviously a freak. It's like, this is why I always say, like, a lot of people they'll call Becker a freak in terms of genetics. I think that's what when people call you a freak in terms of like lifting, the meaning your genetics are really good. It's not really that's like she's not one of the Mitch Hoopers. That is the guy that you could say that guy is the freak. Like Mariusz Pudzianowski, that's a freak. Like this guy is on that level, and he could go on to be the greatest of all time if he doesn't get injured and try and do it too soon. He's kind of spoke about that himself, slowing down, because you just can't get infinitely strong. It's almost like Hulk strong or something. Like he's just all of a sudden he's been crazy strong. You can't do that forever. You will get injured, but if you can taper it back and be smart, you could just do some unbelievable things. Definitely. Right, so we're going to end the video there.
So let us know if you got your predictions right.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can all watch it at Christmas time. I wish it was a little bit sooner, but we had like a decent amount of coverage this year compared to previous years that we've had.
At least we had the results like from World's Strongest Man.
So at least we had that little bit of excitement. But yeah, I'm excited to watch it at Christmas now. World's Strongest Man is back in the UK again with Tom. So congratulations again, Tom. Absolutely amazing job. It's good to have all the world titles in the UK.
You just got to get the second World's Strongest Woman in a row now.
Yeah.
And then there'll be 2 of them.
Right, so like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment down below.
Bye-bye. You in the wave.
How it's supposed to feel.